under the direction of the school. Right. It is the total efforts of the school to bring about desired outcomes in and out of school situations. It may be defined as a sequence of potential experiences set up in school for the purpose of disciplining children and imparting ways of thinking and acting. In the past, when we were children, curriculum usually referred to the syllabus, just the academic part. But I think with the passage of time, there's been a lot of change in pedagogical thinking, and now curriculum has a far wider definition. So it includes all the learning experiences because it's believed that a school is not just a place for academic learning. So the child is learning in the classroom, outside the classroom, through all the other activities that the school provides, like the cultural activities, sports activities, even activities like attending the assembly. All of these provide situations for the child to learn. So it's the total efforts of the school to bring out certain desired outcomes. Like we just don't want the child to be proficient in a particular subject. We want the child to develop life skills during the time he's in school. We want the child to learn about collaboration. We want the child to learn about culture and heritage. So all of these are part of the desired outcomes which the curriculum will lead up to. And so the school is a place which arranges a sequence of potential experiences for the purpose of disciplining the child and teaching him how to think and act. So curriculum includes everything that we provide from the school, whether it's a visit to a zoo or an educational excursion or competitions or a camp, everything is geared towards providing these learning experiences to the child. So when we think about developing a curriculum, we should just also, I think, ponder over how we can view the curriculum, about the nature of the curriculum. We can view it from different angles. Of course, curriculum as the subject, the actual subjects that we teach in school. That is, one could say, the narrowest definition of it. But it's actually far beyond. Uh, we always think of school as a place for providing learning experiences to the students. So, curriculum is a sort of a planned way of providing these learning experiences to the students. At the same time, there are certain outcomes we want. The child must develop certain skills, certain competences. So the curriculum consists of all those outcomes that we want the child to show. The curriculum is also a transmitter of cultural heritage. I think this is a very important part of the curriculum. It is not just subjects that the child should learn. He should also learn about his background, where is he coming from, and that is where our culture and heritage plays a part. So when the school observes different days, it could be the different festivals, or it could be any other special occasion like Raksha Bandhan. All of these, when we observe them in school in some way or the other through programs or even just a display board in the class, we are actually transmitting this cultural heritage to the next generation. We're also in a way working towards the preservation of our cultural heritage. Curriculum may also be regarded as a reflection of social change. Curriculum should reflect the changing modes of society. Our society today is not the same as it was 20 years back or 30 years back. And so the curriculum also has to adapt to these changes because our children have to be prepared for the future, not just for the current contemporary time. And one can also regard the curriculum. Yes. Sorry, I couldn't hear that. Was it for me?
No, ma'am, it wasn't for you. There was a noise in the background.
Okay, sorry about that. And we can also regard the curriculum as a process because it's a streamlined process which is going on. When the child enters the school, goes through different stages, different experiences, learning many things along the way, learning the subject, learning about society, learning skills, learning how to interact with each other, manners, discipline, all of it together builds up the curriculum. So these are different ways of looking at curriculum and pondering over it, which will help us in designing and developing a curriculum. The systematic method used to develop better courses for an educational institution can be called curriculum development. It is necessary to incorporate new discoveries into educational curricula as the world continues to change. To enhance the educational experience of the student, creative teaching methods and strategies should also be developed. So, the systematic method, a planned and organized way in which we develop our courses, what are we going to teach our students in a school, in an educational institution, can be called curriculum development. It is true that to a large extent, we don't have much freedom about this, say, in the higher classes where the board has a larger role to play. But definitely, there is a lot we can do in the lower classes where we have not only a lot of freedom, but we also have to prepare the curriculum in such a way that it can seamlessly sync with what they'll be learning from class 9 onwards. So, when we are planning this curriculum, we must always keep in mind that we also incorporate new ideas which are coming up in society, new discoveries, new technology. All of this should be included in the educational curriculum. And part of the curriculum is also how we upgrade ourselves as teachers, how we plan out our lessons, how we use more innovative approaches, more creative methods to make the learning experience not only enjoyable but also effective for the students. Now let's look at what is curriculum design. The planned methodical organizing of the instructional units of a curriculum inside a course is referred to as curriculum design. So, the actual planning and arranging of the different parts of the curriculum into a integrated and organized whole could be considered as curriculum design. It is for us to organize our lessons in such a way that we get the desired outcomes. So in curriculum design, we the teachers need to decide what will we teach, how will we teach, by whom. And I mention by whom because both teachers and students have to play their part in the classroom. And then we think about the schedule to follow because all of us have many time constraints. We cannot just take our own sweet time. We always have a time framework within which we have to work. So next we move on to the principles of curriculum design. What are the thoughts we must keep in mind when we are going into the process of curriculum design? I think the most important criteria has to be that it has to be child centric. First and foremost, it must serve the needs of the child and it must also cater to the interests of the child. Any curriculum has to be forward looking, otherwise, it will become defunct in no time. Any curriculum has to be progressive, has to move with the times, and has to adapt all the new thinking. Any curriculum must be community and society oriented. We cannot teach our children in a way which is cut off from society. Curriculum has to be utilitarian. It must be very much functional, very much useful in the life of the child. No point teaching a child something which has no connection with the reality outside the school. Coordination and integration are very important principles. We must see that all the topics gel together, sync together. For example, when a child is moving from class 2 to 3, what grammar has he learnt in class 2? Based on that, we can carry on teaching grammar in class 3 and so on. So the planning of the curriculum must be such that there are no such gaps and no such jumps. So it must be a smooth flow of knowledge and a smooth flow of teaching. And definitely relevance. Whatever we are teaching the child, whatever we are including in the curriculum must be relevant. It must be according to the needs of the age, must be according to the needs of the child at that particular standard, and so on. All the activities that we do in school, whether it's a music class or a dance class or sports, must be planned in a way that it's suitable for that age or for that class or for maybe that the society that the school belongs to in a way. Maybe a rural and an urban school will have slightly different approaches. So These are some of the things we should keep in mind when we are planning out a curriculum for our school. And of course, beyond these, there are some other things we should keep in mind. We all have to follow the guidelines of the government, for example, whether it's the central government or the state government. uh, we have to rely to a certain extent on what is the pedagogical literature that is available, so that whatever we are doing is in keeping with the finest theories and the finest practices of that time. We must take in inputs from experienced people in the field as well as our students, so that we can better the curriculum. We must keep in mind what is the policy of the institution, to what is the policy of the particular school that we are working in. And also we must always keep in mind that there are certain resources that we can fall back upon, and accordingly we should tailor our curriculum. Now we come to the models of curriculum design. I think all of us must be using these in different ways at different times. I think all of us will agree that the subject centered design is the most common approach, where the emphasis is on the subject rather than the learner. And there cannot be too much space given to individual learning styles in this kind of design. Uh, Perhaps in higher classes, especially, where sometimes the lecture form has to be adopted. So a subject centered design could be something like that, where there has to be, a certain concern about finishing the syllabus, for example. So it often happens that we become rather focused on finishing the syllabus, so we become a little focused on the subject centered design. But we should all try to vary our styles, so that the learner also gets some emphasis and some importance. Next we come to the learner centered design, where the emphasis is on the needs, interests and goals of each individual student. uh, this is of course very labor intensive, because it needs a lot of planning and effort from the on the part of the teacher. Learner centered design could work very well if it was a small class, or I think we need to adopt this when we are tackling children with special needs, maybe specially able children or children who have behavioral issues. Often such students cannot be roped into what the rest of the class is doing. So often the learn in the learner centered design, we need to just adjust the syllabus a little, adjust the curriculum a little, so that they can also uh, cope up with whatever is expected of them, and they can also reach the learning outcomes in their own way. Another approach is the problem centered design, where the emphasis is on analysis of a situation and finding a solution. This is often the approach that we find when we give project work, for example, where the child gathers information, interprets the information, analyzes it, and comes to a conclusion or finds a solution to a problem. So there is a lot of effort being put in by the learner himself. So this can be very fruitful and very effective, because this makes a lot of demand on the creativity, the independent thinking, collaboration, critical thinking, analytical thinking. All of these skills come to the fore in the problem centered design. So it can be very fruitful. So if it can be used uh, in a creative way by the teacher, it can be a wonderful approach, and the children also enjoy themselves a lot. Finally, I would like to come to the integrated curriculum design, which is an approach which is becoming very popular nowadays. A lot of emphasis is being given to the integrated curriculum design, which we discussed in yesterday's session. I think many will remember we spoke about the multidisciplinary approach yesterday. So, this is the interdisciplinary holistic approach, where different subjects, different disciplines are brought together to teach the child. And this way we can tell the child that the subjects are not watertight compartments. I remember a little experience of a few years back when, in the context of some discussion, in I think while teaching them to write an article or something like that. So I mentioned the term sustainable development. So I asked the children that, do you know what it is? So this child says, but that is part of geography. Why are we talking about it in the English class? So this is the usual way of thinking that children have. They tend to think that because they are being taught separate subjects from separate textbooks, uh, they can't, be brought together. So I think the multidisciplinary approach or the integrated curriculum design is the need of the hour. I think we should do more of it. And in yesterday's discussion, I think it came out that there are a lot of teachers who are, yes,
अच्छा लगता है कोई आ जाता है तो हाँ बच्चों आ जाओ
right. So to carry on, uh, so let's move on to the aims, goals, and objectives of education. We must keep this in mind when we are planning out our curriculum. First are the aims, which are the larger statements or the general statements about the intent of education that provide a sense of direction, serve as guiding principles for translating the needs of society into educational policy designed at the national or the state level. So the aims are usually provided by the government or by the board under which we are working. So these are the larger aims of education which the curriculum should seek to achieve. Next, we come to goals, which are slightly narrower in scope, slightly more specific. So these refer to the particular subject area. So each subject that we teach will have a certain set of goals. So it reflects the purpose with outcomes in mind. So when I'm teaching a particular subject, my goal is to achieve a certain level of competency in the student in that particular subject. So it describes what schools are expected to accomplish in different subjects or different fields. And then we come to objectives, which are the most specific of them all. It delineates the most specific levels of educational outcomes in observable and measurable terms, states what students should know at the end of a course. So this is actually the most, let's say, important part that we as teachers need to really keep track of. Whenever we are teaching something, we should be very clear about what is
Now it's audible. Thank you.
we should be very clear about what are the objectives that we seek from any kind of activity, anything that we teach. So objectives should be specific, observable, and measurable. We should remember these three terms: specific, observable, and measurable. We should be able to see, we should be able to make out in some way that the students have been able to achieve the objective. Now we come to the next stage, which is the actual teaching. Teaching methods are general principles, pedagogy, and management strategies used for classroom instruction. And instructional methods will be based on the curriculum design. So, teaching methods are the actual putting into practice of the pedagogical methods. How do we teach a particular topic? What do we exactly do in the class? How do we bring in the children's contribution in the class? The actual specifics of it are the teaching methods. Here are some types of teaching methods. I think all of us must have used some, if not all of these. I think it would be wonderful if we could hear from teachers about how they've tried any of these. Could we have some response from some of the teachers? If I think lecture mode is the most common method which we often have to use, especially in the higher classes. But it, with regard to problem solving or role playing or the games method, could we have some inputs from the teachers here? Yes, friends.
Ma'am,
Hello.
role playing can be used for teaching while we are doing plays,
Yeah, great.
especially in our subject in English. We can do role playing and we can assign roles to students in the class.
Yes, that makes it a lot of fun. And there'll be students, putting up their hands, wanting to play different roles. But if it's not a play, can we think about role playing in something which is not a drama anyway? I think that too is possible.
Ma'am,
Say yes.
ma'am, regarding this role playing, as you mentioned that other than drama, how we can use it. A few weeks back, I have attended one conference of Burlington's where they were
I see.
discussing about this role playing method, and the one who was presenting, she very well explained that while doing a poem, as she was talking about poem reading, how we can use this role playing method. Means we can personify the characters of the poems, and
Okay.
through role playing we can discuss the questions which are not directly mentioned in the poem, as in the underlying messages,
Okay.
or
Right.
the things that we get in between the lines. So that would
Right.
be, I
Right.
think, great if we can try that.
Absolutely. I think if if there is any kind of in any story, there may be 2 or 3 points of view. So you can get children to act out those roles and express the different points of view. It may not be there in a play form within the text, but children can be asked to play those roles, that if you were in that position, what would you do? And there can be a conversation, there can be a debate through this role playing method, so it can be a lot of fun. uh, Same way we can have the games method, for example. You can play little games in the class, plan something which is interesting, make it points oriented. Maybe in a grammar class you could play Scrabble, you could play Monopoly, you could try that. If you get the correct answer, you go forward 5 steps, and if you get the wrong answer, you go back by 10 steps, something like that. You can plan something like that, have a little map on the board where they go 5 steps forward, 10 steps backwards, or something. So it can be a lot of fun. And usually children remember these fun activities, and it helps them to remember the lesson too much better. So this way we create strong memories for them, and thus the class leaves a real deep impact on the minds of the child. uh, Discussion method is very handy, I think, uh, in any text, when there are 2 or more viewpoints. So you can have children discussing the different viewpoints, and then they decide which viewpoint they want to accept or discard. Hands-on activities, there's so many ways that children are making projects, or they're making models. So through this hands-on method, this learning by doing, children tend to retain their learning much more effectively. Group work is always a great idea. Group work in the making of charts or the making of any kind of project. Flipped classroom can also be very useful. I think many of us are probably using flipped classroom already, where you may tell the child to do some reading from before, and then on the basis of that reading, the teacher can just carry out some activities or some assessment, and this way the topic may be tackled. So flipped classroom is very effective in that it puts the entire onus of studies on the children, so they feel that they feel that they're taking ownership of their learning. So there is a far greater sense that I am directing my own learning. So flipped classroom can be a great idea. ICT, of course, in this digital world, we are already using a lot of it. Yes. Regarding self paced learning, I would say that self paced learning is not for everyone. Uh, but of course, each of you will have your own experience. Usually, highly motivated students can, uh, benefit from self paced learning. Otherwise, as I was saying, if there are children who have learning uh, difficulties, or there may be children who are not able to attend school regularly, so many of them will be resorting to self paced learning. So, there the teacher's effort will be much more, but it can be useful for, as I said, high achievers, or those who are not able to uh, carry on with the class in the normal way like everybody else. So these are just some teaching methods. I'm sure there are many more which you all have tried successfully in your classes. So basically, I'm just trying to, what should I say, throw up a few ideas, and just help us to refocus and uh, sort of refresh our minds, and try to get us to think again in a new way.
And the final culmination of this entire process of the planning of the curriculum, the teaching, etc., is of course assessment. In a way, the entire educational program is geared towards assessment. Assessment plays a crucial role in education as it allows educators to measure students' understanding, track their progress, and identify areas where intervention may be necessary. Assessing student learning not only helps educators make informed decisions about instruction, but also contributes to student success and teacher well being. We cannot think of school without the tests and the exams, I think, but they are important and they are necessary. So, any form of assessment, and it doesn't have to be just that exam in an exam hall, any form of assessment is important because it allows us to understand how much the student is following. It allows us to measure the student's understanding. It allows us to measure whether the learning outcomes have been achieved, to track their progress. Are they getting better? And identify areas where intervention may be necessary. And based on this feedback, we can give greater focus on a particular topic or greater focus on a particular child, or sometimes change our own approach. Often one finds that you feel you have taught wonderfully well, and yet the students have not performed very well. So you go back to the drawing board, you go back and think that how can I change my approach so that more children are able to do better. So this is like a to and fro. It's a continuous process through which we can even learn a lot ourselves about our own approach to teaching. Assessing student learning also helps in educators make informed decisions about instruction. This is what I was saying just now, that we can think about whether my instruction method is uh, the best that I can do, or is there something else I can do. And in this way, assessment can motivate children to do better. And most important, I think it's a great way for teachers to feel motivated and encouraged. Uh, if our students do well, it feels great. It leads to much contentment. It leads to motivation. It makes us feel that, oh, we're doing great, let's try to do something better. I think the board results came out, and I think all of us were very happy with whatever our children did. And if we any of us have students in our schools who have scored 100 in English, I think all of us in the English department walk about 3 inches above the ground. Am I right? Please tell me
Yes,
about your experience.
absolutely, absolutely, ma'am.
Yes, because 100 in English is like something which is beyond our imagination usually. So when it happens, it just feels great. And I think it tells us that, okay, we must be doing something right, which is why our students have achieved this. Right. So to carry on, assessments provide insight into student knowledge, skills, and progress, while also highlighting necessary adjustments in instruction. Effective assessment practices ultimately contribute to better educational outcomes and promote a culture of continuous improvement within schools and classrooms. And it's very important. I would like to highlight the word effective. In class 10, if one takes, a test where, the answers are very simple, one word answers or one sentence answers, then that is not an effective assessment practice. So it's very important that the assessment level should also be appropriate. So then only it gives a true picture of what the status of the class is. And this way we can promote a culture of motivation and ambition in the school, where children want to always endeavor to do better all the time. So we promote a culture of continuous improvement within the school and the classroom. Now we come to assessment methods. I think most of us, again, will be familiar with these terms and practices. Formative assessment focuses on monitoring student learning during the instructional process, provides ongoing feedback to both teachers and students, helps identify areas of strength and areas in need of improvement, does not or may not contribute much to the final grade. Formative assessment, I think, is something we are doing all the time. Maybe not through pen and paper only, but through many other methods. Just the oral work in the class, getting them to perform something in class, giving their own opinions, or getting them to prepare a little chart or something in the class. There are so many ways that we are continuously monitoring our students' performances. So this is something which is ongoing. It is something we do almost in every class, and we are constantly trying to assess our students and trying to get an impression of where they stand. So this is something which is ongoing, which we are doing often without even realizing. So this continuous formative assessment is, I think, the most important, is could be considered an important part of our teaching method too. That constantly we are trying to assess the students. How much have they understood? Do they have a different viewpoint? What do they have to contribute to the class? From this we get a picture of the status of the class. This way we can identify who has what potentials, who has developed what skills, who is maybe a little behind the others, who needs a little more effort on our part. Usually the formative assessment will not contribute too many marks to the final marks in the report card maybe, but this plays a huge role in how the student will finally perform in the exams that count. So to move on to the summative assessment now, it is designed to evaluate student learning at the end of a specific instructional period. So summative assessment is basically the marks which come out in the report card. We place so much emphasis on the summative assessment usually, but let's not forget that if the formative assessment is done well, the summative assessment will reflect very positive results. So at the end of a term, at the end of a course, at the end of an academic session, it's our duty to assess our students so that we can judge them as to whether they are fit for the next class, how well have they developed their skills or competencies in this particular class. We have to give them marks and grades. This is our system. So for that we need summative assessment, but this too gives us effective feedback. As teachers, we should also use this data to reassess ourselves and start planning in a better way again for the next session. So I think both formative and summative assessment give very valuable feedback to the teachers. In other situations, we may need other assessment methods like a diagnostic assessment, often used at the beginning of a new unit or term. When we have a new unit, we have a new term, we have a new batch, we don't know the children. So, diagnostic assessment often is of great help. It helps educators identify students' prior knowledge, skills, and understanding of a particular topic. It enables teachers to tailor their instruction to meet the specific needs and learning gaps of their students. So, this is a very useful tool, especially at the beginning of a session. It will help us, recognize the different, let's say, qualities of the different children. It will help us to bridge the knowledge gaps if there are any before we start something new. So diagnostic assessment is a very handy tool. Next we come to performance based assessment. Requires students to demonstrate their knowledge, skills, and abilities through the completion of real world tasks or activities. Assesses students' ability to apply their learning in authentic, meaningful situations that closely resemble real life challenges. Again, this is somewhat like the project work that we get children to do. So, if we give them a certain topic, the child can go out and seek information on it, do his own reference work, do his own research, and then he can find a solution to the problem or draw a certain conclusion from the information he has gathered. So here the child is actually doing something by himself, whether he's doing it alone or in a group. So here the kind of involvement that it needs from the child demands a lot from the child's intelligence, his understanding, his critical thinking. And this way, the child is in a way forced to be innovative and creative. This is a way of molding the child's thinking, and higher order thinking skills can be developed. So, performance based assessment can be a very effective method of assessing the, the child. Uh, And now I come to two methods which are not greatly used. I think I won't be wrong in saying that, but the NEP is talking about self assessment and peer assessment. So I think we should keep these in mind. If we can use them, not at a, if not on a very large scale, occasionally, if it can be used. Self assessment encourages students to engage in reflection and take ownership of their learning, requires students to evaluate their own progress, skills, and understanding of the subject matter, promotes self awareness and critical thinking, can contribute to the development of lifelong learning habits, and foster a growth mindset. Self assessment is if it can be used, it's very effective. Unfortunately, not all children have the maturity level, but if a child is highly motivated, if the child can be encouraged to think about his own uh, achievements, if the child can be guided that he will think of as we say, take ownership of his own learning, then it can lead to great results. So a child must be encouraged to think and ponder over what he has done, how has he scored, how is the teacher grading him. From this, he can learn from his own mistakes and try to better himself. So, self assessment can be a very handy way of assessment if the child is willing to learn from his own mistakes. Peer assessment is another quite a useful method, and I think in English, we many of us maybe are already using it. For example, in the competition, in the composition classes, when we teach any kind of writing skill. Uh, in peer assessment, the students evaluate and provide feedback on their classmates' work. So, say in a writing class, we read out the writing work of a child, and we ask the other students to analyze it. Of course, we must not reveal the identity of the student, and then let them comment on it, that what is missing or what is good about that piece of writing. This way, they will be interacting with that piece of writing, and when they are trying to assess their friends' work, in a way, it is teaching them also as to what they should do or what they should not do. So, this can be of great use, and children also feel great because they feel they are doing what the teacher does usually. It's
तूने
usually
यही
the
पूछा था
teacher who points out
एक मिनट,
grammatical
कौन सा
mistakes.
क्वेश्चन आया
और एक पीछे करो। ये तो मेरे ख्याल से सही है।
Srila ma'am, you're on mute.
Srinath, we cannot hear you. Not inaudible. Please unmute yourself, Srinath.
Right. So, I think I have come to the end of my presentation. Uh, I don't know why I got muted. Have I been muted for a long time?
No,
ma'am,
Just at the end. So I was talking about, just a second. Just give me a moment. So actually, one could say that I have reached the end. So, I was talking about the peer assessment. Can you see now? Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It is visible.
Right. So this is actually my just to wrap up. So I was talking about the peer assessment. That it's something that I'm sure many of you have already tried. That when you read out something which a child has done, the other children greatly enjoy commenting on it. It gives them a sense that, okay, I also know something. So this way, a lot of good things can come out of it. Uh, so I now come to the end of my session. And my final message to everyone is keep calm and teach on. Most of us are so wrapped up. There's so much of hustle and bustle when school goes on, that we are always in a frantic condition. But my message to everyone would be keep calm and teach on, and do the best you can, and always keep the student's interests as the center of your focus. Thank you all. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. So
Thank-
I'll wrap up now. And anybody who wishes to share any experience, it would be great to hear from all of you.
Is there anybody who would like to thank ma'am?
If anybody would like to share any experience, any little method that they have used, because I think that would be the most useful thing, if we could exchange some ideas as to any idea which has really worked very well. It could be any sort of experience in any class, that somebody's tried something out in class and it has been successful. It would be wonderful to hear from the others. I think that's how we all learn and grow as teachers and as human beings.
Yes, ma'am, you're right. And today, your expertise and thorough exploration of these critical components provided invaluable insights.
Thank you.
And I think that is going to significantly benefit all the participants. And
Thank
the
you, ma'am.
detailed explanation, practical examples, I mean, this has actually equipped all the participants. Now they'll go to their classes, with lot of information which you have shared in. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for your kind words. I hope I will have left some impact on everyone. And basically, these whatever I said, I don't claim that it was very new or anything like that, but it's just a way of reminding ourselves, because we often forget these things when we are, totally immersed in whatever work we are doing. We often overlook these things. So it's just a way of refreshing and reorienting ourselves towards our profession. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, ma'am.
Madam, there is one question that someone has given in the chat box.
Right.
So
Let me
please,
see.
question and answers.
Sure, sir. Ma'am, actually, it depends on what sort of approach. I'm talking about the diagnostic assessment question. I think it all depends on what you are trying to assess. Like, I'll give you a very simple example. Say in class 11, we get a new bunch of students whom we've never taught before. So we don't know what their standard is like. So a very simple way of a diagnostic assessment, just tell them to write a paragraph on themselves, and from that you can judge where they stand, what is their fluency like. I'm just giving an example. Or say in a class 5 or a 6 or a 7, you're going to start teaching grammar. So a quick little check of what they already know before you teach something new. So it depends on what is the format that you're using, right? So these are all little tips. It could be just a quiz in the class also to find out, right?
Yes, ma'am. The question. Sorry, ma'am. Sorry to disturb you. It's been an on
Right,
the
ma'am.
Again, ma'am,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
Aradhana from Bhavan's Renukot. I would like to
Right, ma'am.
ask, ma'am, you talk about the various type of methods of assessment in learning, assessment for learning, and assessment as learning. My question
Yes,
was,
ma'am.
ma'am, are we supposed to prepare rubrics at every point of time, be it diagnostic assessment also? The reason behind that, it would unnecessarily be prolonging the whole of our teaching classes also, because we are providing rubrics at formative assessments also, and summative assessment is given in the blueprint also. But ma'am, rubrics is something which is very important, because the children should also know what are they being assessed for.
Absolutely,
So
ma'am.
can we skip this in the diagnostic assessment, because diagnostic basically being done at the beginning of the chapter. So can we only go for the introductory sort of the things to know their previous knowledge as per the lesson plan, or are we supposed to prepare the huge rubrics over there also, ma'am?
Ma'am, as I said, it's totally up, it's totally up to you. And maybe we are doing a lot of diagnostic assessment without this labeling. uh, I mean, let's think of what is my aim.
ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਨਾ ਰੀਨੂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ
I'm
ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ
trying to
ਕੰਪਿਊਟਰ ਦੀ
judge
ਬੁੱਕ ਇਹੋ
the
ਜਿਹੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ
student. I'm
ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ
trying to
ਛੁੱਟੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਦੀ
understand
ਕਹਿੰਦੇ
where
ਦੇ
the
ਦੋ
student
ਦੇ ਹੀ ਦੋ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ
stands
ਚਲੋ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇ
so
ਦੋ
that I
ਤੇ
can
ਉਹ ਨਾ
teach
ਯਾਰ
him
ਮੈਂ ਨਾ
properly in
ਕੰਪਿਊਟਰ
future.
ਬੁੱਕ ਨਾ
So
ਸੁਨਿਧੀ
it
ਬੈਠੀ ਸੀ
depends on
ਟੇਬਲ ਤੇ
what
ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ
is
ਫੜਾ
the.
ਕੇ ਆ ਗਈ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਲਿਖੇ ਪੁੱਛੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਆ ਗਈ ਫੜਾ
Sorry,
ਕੇ
I'm getting a little
ਤੇ ਚਲੋ ਜੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਫੜਾ ਕੇ ਆਈ
disturbed
ਨਾਲ
there.
ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਂ ਗੁਰਵੀਰ ਦੀ ਮਦਰ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਕਰਤਾ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਤੇਰੇ ਮੁੰਡੇ
Avneet,
ਨੂੰ ਪਈ ਹੈ
we
ਇੱਥੇ
can
ਸਕੂਲ 'ਚ
see, we can
ਵੀ ਤੂੰ
listen you.
ਲਾਇਬ੍ਰੇਰੀ 'ਚ
Please
ਲੈ ਜੀ ਇੰਨੇ ਵਜੇ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਇੰਨੇ
Ma'am,
ਵਜੇ
could
mute yourself.
ਤੇ ਯਾਰ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਅੱਜ ਗਈ ਉੱਥੇ ਕੰਪਿਊਟਰ ਦੀ ਬੁੱਕ ਹੈ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ
Excuse me,
ਉਹਦੀ ਮਦਰ
Ravneet
ਖੜੀ
ma'am.
ਉਹਦੀ ਮਦਰ ਖੜੀ
Ravneet
ਕਹਿੰਦੀ
ma'am.
ਵੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬੁੱਕ ਦੇ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ
No.
ਸੁਨੀਧੀ ਤੇ ਰੇਸ਼ਮ ਨੂੰ
Ravneet
ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਮੈਂ
ma'am,
ਕਿ ਯਾਰ ਬੁੱਕ ਵੀ
Ravneet
ਮੈਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ
ma'am,
ਕੱਲ ਦੇ ਕੇ ਗਈ ਸੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਜੀ ਤੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਬੁੱਕ ਦੇਖੀ ਨਹੀਂ
mute
ਗਈ
it, mute
ਤੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ
yourself.
ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਕੁਝ
Uh,
ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਨੋਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਨਾ ਵਾਸਤਾ
Sumita
ਕਹਿੰਦੇ
ma'am,
ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ
please
ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ
mute
ਯਾਰ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ
Ravneet ma'am.
ਤੇ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਚਲੋ ਜੀ ਹੁਣ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਨਾ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਉੱਥੋਂ
Sir,
ਪੁਰਾਣੀਆਂ ਬੁੱਕਸ ਚੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਬੁੱਕ ਕੱਢੀ ਹੈ
actually,
ਉਹਦੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟ
control is
ਪੇਰੈਂਟ ਨੂੰ
with
ਤਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਉਹ
Sumita ma'am.
ਦਊਂਗੀ
Even
ਉਹ
I don't
ਉਹ
know
ਮਦਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ
what is
ਮਨੀ
the
ਫਰੈਂਡਲੀ
setting
ਹੈ
she has
ਪੇਰੈਂਟ
done.
ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਕੋਈ
I
ਨਹੀਂ
am
ਮੈਮ
not
ਤੁਸੀਂ
able
ਮੈਨੂੰ
to
ਬਾਹਰ ਦੇ
mute
ਦਿਓ
her.
ਮੇਰਾ ਆਫਿਸ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੈ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਬਾਹਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਹੱਥ ਭੇਜ ਦਿਓ ਬੁੱਕ ਮੇਰੇ
Acha.
ਬੱਚੇ ਦੀ
So to just
ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਚਲ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ
answer Aradhana ma'am's question, see, it all depends on how detailed work you want to do. Rubrics may be in your mind. You don't have to write it out always, because everything doesn't have to be done in that formalized way. But definitely you must have some idea as to what you're doing and why you're doing it. I think the need of the situation will determine what you do. So as I said, the in the lower classes, it often helps before starting a topic to find out what their previous knowledge is. So this way one knows where the class stands, what is their level, what is their standard, do you need to repeat something which was taught in the previous class. So this is just a practical way of seeing that your teaching is effective. Okay. And lesson plans, how you write is I think a matter of your choice and what is your school's policy. Okay, Aradhana ma'am, I hope I've been able to answer your question. I hope I was audible.
Sweetie Sharma, please mute yourself. Sweetie Sharma, please mute yourself. Sweetie Sharma, please
Are
mute
there
yourself.
any other questions? Are there any other questions?
Sweet Sharma, please mute yourself. Actually, she's not even aware.
Right. If anybody else has questions, you could put it in the chat maybe, or you can ask me directly.
Thank you, ma'am. Do we have some more questions?
Or if somebody could just share an experience or something so that everybody could, gain some tips or something like that.
So we can
So
move on to the
thank
next
you very
session.
much. I like your last slide.
I gave it with that intention, sir, because quite frankly, when we are in school, we are involved in so many things that often teachers find it difficult to keep calm. That's why I put that in.
That's why I am
That
saying
keep
you.
calm and teach on.
I like your last slide.
Thank you, sir.
It is very easy to write. It is very difficult to practice.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir.
So all the best. Your session was very good. I thoroughly
Thank you,
enjoyed
sir.
it. Hope that we'll get much more sessions like this. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. On
Thank you
behalf
so
of all
much.
the participants, I thank you. Now, we'll move on to the next session. Next session is by Dr. Neelu Goswami, ma'am. Neelu Goswami, ma'am, is there. So, Let me introduce Neelu ma'am to you all. Ma'am Neelu Goswami has a very rich administrative and teaching experience. Her subject is political science. She has many research papers and other publications to her credit. She has attended and conducted numerous workshops and seminars, even many examinations. She is the recipient of many awards. So here I am naming just some of them. She is the recipient of Dr. S. Radhakrishnan Samman for her remarkable contributions in nation building, social welfare, environment protection, education and promotion of Indian art, culture, dance and music. She was awarded with Inspiring Educators Award, Acharya Devo Bhava Award in 2021, Guru Drona Award in 2018, Azad Hind Award, and many more. The list is very big. I have mentioned here just some of those. I welcome you, ma'am. We all are anxiously waiting to listen to you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dipali. Thank you for your kind words. And before we start with, I just want to tell you all that today I performed rather, because in Delhi, today was the election day. So I performed my duty as a citizen, and thereafter my day started today. So I hope that we need to teach our children not only what, all our subjects related or something related to morals, but beyond that, we need to tell them that yes, nation first. So somehow, if we all are going to work in that area, then I think the percentage of voting that is coming so down will definitely increase. Thank you so much. And without wasting much of your time, let's come up to the topic of the day. And I think my slides are visible. Are they? My slides are visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am, you
today,
are audible as well as this.
fine. Thank you so much. So today's topic is vibrant planning for classroom improvement. This particular topic includes that what actually we need to improve in our classroom plan. It's a plan to bring improvement in your classroom and its environment. Actually, basically, we take this particular topic for granted. At times, we feel like, yes, our classes, I being an experienced teacher, I don't need anything. I am well versed with everything, and somehow I'll be able to manage my class well. The experienced teacher over a period of time, yes, they have this particular, trait or skill that they are able to manage the classes. But somehow when it comes to freshers or those inexperienced teachers, this particular classroom improvement plan is very much required. So this particular topic that I am going to, take up today will definitely be a relevant topic for many aspiring teachers and those who are already in this particular profession. Because this particular topic is the base. If your classroom plan or your classroom is not having proper, I would say, this particular area is not in sync, definitely you will feel that the output of your effort is not going to be that good. For this, the members, everybody, it includes everybody who is responsible for this classroom improvement plan. It includes from the beginning of hierarchy, that is principal, then section head. Section head means your vice principal or someone who is below this particular hierarchy. Then coordinators, teachers, and students. These are the area. These are the people who are actually involved in. Then today I'm just going to ask you a thing, that do you ever feel like that your classroom is way too chaotic, or not, no one is listening to you, or you just don't know what to do? At times you feel like I am not able to handle the class the way I should. Have you ever felt like this? I just need an answer. I just need an answer from all of you. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
I just need
Yes,
to
you are
know
very much.
whether you have ever felt like this. Sorry. That nobody is listening to you. At times, your class is very chaotic, and children are doing musty in your class, and they are not ready to listen to you. Have you ever felt like this?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, at times, yes. With experienced teacher, I don't expect this response. But those who are new to the profession, yes, it happens many a times with such teachers. Now the plan is today's session is going to take you up and bring about slight improvement in your learning that will help you in reduction of disruptions that you have in your classes. It further helps you to create smooth running classes and deal with the issues without yelling, begging, and driving. So today we are going to take over these areas where I think I can make a little difference, and you may be going to learn from this particular session, and hope that we all will be sailing in the same boat, because as you are learning from me, same way I'll also be learning from your experiences. Taking further this particular topic, let's find out what all mistakes normally we all teachers make. We all teachers normally we believe that choosing between kind and firm. Many a times, teachers feel like being kind or being too nice to the class will definitely help me out. Then the students will be my friend, and I'll be able to handle them in a better way. On the other side, there are few teachers who believe that, yes, I need to be firm. I need to be a dictator in the class. Once I'll have my say, I'll be having that orders, then the children will definitely behave the way I want them to. So these are two types of conditions that normally teachers are in. Either they are very kind or they are very firm. Both the condition I feel accordingly are not apt. For being kind, the teachers they feel that, yes, after being kind, I'll be very nice, I'll be personable, and further I'll be in a better coordination with the student, and they will be able to understand me more, and I'll be able to understand them more. This is what a kind teacher normally thinks. She feels like the class is going to be fun. It will be fun class when I'll be around them. But ultimately, it is not just being kind. You have to give results. You have to come up to the high expectation of your school management for the students as well as the parents. So, a firm teacher normally thinks that, yes, a high expectation is what I need. So, I need not to be very friendly with them. I need to deal with the issue with firm and strict instructions, and I don't no pushover is required. But frankly speaking, a good ideal teacher needs to be a balance of being kind and being firm. So she needs to maintain that balance to be an ideal teacher or a good teacher. Kind normally worries about being liked. Normally, a kind teacher feels like, yes, I need to be liked by all. I need to be the favorite of all students. This is a misconception. Further, I feel that this particular way you will not be able to achieve the goals that you are setting yourself for, or the organization is setting for the teacher. The firm teacher believes that I resign myself to the students, not liking. I mean, not to the liking. That is, a firm teacher normally feels like I don't want to be liked, but I need to bring about quality teaching that the organization or the students expect me for. That also is incorrect, because being a strict teacher, at times students will not be able to approach or may ask questions which might be there in their minds because they are scared of you. So it has to be, for being a good teacher, it has to be a balance of both. I mean, that kind and firm need to marry each other. These two needs to be collaborating with each other to bring about that respect for that teacher. Many a times we feel like nowadays that students are not respecting the teachers and the parents are not respecting the teachers, and this is a very common you know mentality that is there nowadays. But I disagree, because you cannot earn you cannot take out respect from them. You need to earn it. So earning that respect is only when you are having both the flavors of being kind as well as being firm. For kind, you try to be a student's friend. First of all, teachers need not to be a student's friend. Reason: when you are too friendly, then the child will, or the student will start taking you for granted. They will not be that serious and they take you very casually. But ultimately, you are not there to be taken up casually. Second, when you are being very firm, then also the student will start, maintaining that distance from you. He or she will not approach you even if there are lot many things coming up to their mind. So when a particular concept is not clear, then what if a firm teacher is dealing in the class, and if a particular concept is not clear, child will not dare raise his or her hand to actually get the doubt clear, because he or she is very scared of that particular teacher. That also is disastrous. So kind and firm, both are required. See yourself as a mentor, not as a friend, not as a strict dictator. You need to be a mentor to the student, and both kind and firm, both the qualities need to be there to earn that respect from the student. Then only you will be able to actually get that productive results that you are there for. For this, I'll just share one video. uh, I'll just share one video, and to some extent this video will also clarify the doubts.
Ma'am, there is no audio in it.
Seema ma'am hasn't come yet? Yeah.
Now it is there.
Is it there?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Now it is there.
Ma'am is also late today, just like you. So will ma'am also be punished for coming late to class?
Chinky, Goody, and Bunty started laughing hearing this. But the new teacher entered the classroom. All the kids were very surprised.
Good morning, students. Good morning, ma'am. So, students, from today onwards, I will be your class teacher for a week because Seema ma'am will be busy with school functions. Okay?
All the kids started whispering to each other.
Silence. Students, I don't want any disturbances in my class. For the next week, I will be marking your attendance and I will take your maths classes in the fourth period too. You are supposed to sit quietly when I am taking your class. Okay? Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am marked the attendance of all children and left the classroom. During recess, Kattu, Chinky, Goody, and Bunty were having lunch together.
Friends, I think our new ma'am is very strict. You are right. We can't even speak in her class at all. What if she notices and scolds us? I miss our Seema ma'am very much. I hope she comes back very soon. You are right. Our Seema ma'am is so nice, right? Okay, now stop talking and finish your tiffin quickly, as it's almost time for fourth period. Otherwise, we will be the first to get scolded by the new strict teacher. Please don't say such things. But nothing like this will happen. We all are very good students. So why would she scold us?
That's when they heard the bell. So they rushed to wash their hands and quickly went to their seats. The new teacher entered the class once again.
Good afternoon, students. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Did all of you finish your lunch properly? Yes, ma'am.
None of the students can answer the ma'am's question.
Hey, what happened? It seems like you guys have not eaten properly today. No one has the energy to answer. How can you study maths if you don't have energy?
Seeing the kids are still quiet, ma'am continued.
Okay then, now tell me, who among you will introduce himself to me first?
But still nobody came forward. Ma'am thought to herself.
I think these kids are a bit nervous because of me.
That's when she got an idea. She said,
Well, I think all of you are scared of me. But if you don't introduce yourself to me, how are we going to move forward to study? Um, so what should we do? Let us play a game.
hearing about the game, all the kids got excited.
Game? Which game, ma'am? This is a very interesting game in which if I choose a student, then he will not introduce himself, but his best friend to me, and he will speak something about him.
All the kids were confused. Then ma'am said,
What is this? I think you're very confused about this game. Okay, let me explain it more. Dear, please stand up. Yes, ma'am. Now you should tell me your name and then tell me who is your best friend in the class. Ma'am, I am Gattu. And my best friend is Bunty. This is Bunty. Okay, so Gattu, now introduce your friend Bunty. Tell us what does he likes or which is his favorite subject. Ma'am, this is Bunty, and his favorite subject is English. Yes, and he loves to play badminton with me very much. Very nice. This is really a good thing. And Gattu, tell me which subject do you like the most? Ma'am, my favorite subject is maths. Seema ma'am teaches us maths in a very interesting way. And when she takes maths quiz, I often come first. That's great, Gattu. Sit down. Okay, ma'am. Who will be the next? Okay, you. Now you tell me, what is your name and who is your best friend?
Goody stood up and said,
Ma'am, my name is Goody and my best friend's name is Chinky.
Chinky was very happy to hear this, and she raised her hand to show ma'am who Chinky is.
Okay then, Goody. Now please tell us what Chinky likes to eat most. Do you know her favorite dish? Yes, ma'am. Chinky likes cheese sandwiches the most that my mummy prepares for my tiffin. She loves it. Really? Chinky, is Goody telling right about it? Yes, ma'am. She's absolutely right. Very good, Goody. Now you can sit. Now, who will go next to tell me about their best friend?
Now kids started raising their hands on their own and gave the answer. Due to this game, all the kids got friendly with the new ma'am. All of them introduced themselves to the teacher. Soon they were less scared and more friendly with the new ma'am and started studying maths. In this way, 1 week was over and Seema ma'am returned back.
Good morning, kids. So, did you guys miss me or not? Yes, we did, ma'am. So, from today, I will be teaching you once again. Ma'am, do you know, we all like the new class teacher very much. And on the first day, she made us play games too. And, ma'am, she also gave us a maths quiz. Gattu came first once again. That was bound to happen. Yes, ma'am, but we all missed you badly. Yes, ma'am. It's all right, kids. Now I'm back, you know. Okay, now let's start studying once again as we used to. And that ma'am will also come to teach you sometimes. Okay, ma'am.
And in this way, the kids resumed their classes with their previous teacher.
If you are liking our videos, then like them, comment them.
So now I just need an observation after this video. Anyone who can give me some, who can throw some light on this particular video? Any observation of yours? Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am,
ma'am.
you are audible.
Okay, then let me know what you have actually observed from this particular video.
Good evening, ma'am. This is Shashi Mehta from Bhavan Vidyalay, New Chandigarh branch. Ma'am, from this video, what I think the first point that you said about being firm, like we were discussing about being firm as well as kind, right? This is what I observed from the video, that it's not that always you need to be firm with the children. It should go hand in hand. This is what my observation goes.
Very true, very true. Anyone else who can add to it?
Good evening, ma'am. This is Aradhana Singh from Bhavan's Renu Coach. What I actually observed from the beautiful video that was showed by you, ma'am, is always about engaging the children in meaningful talks, actively listening to them. It's not like that you are a sage on the stage and go for the lecture method. You're supposed to give an ears to their problems, to their issues, their undue fears or uncertainties that might lead to a great roadblock to provide them to a better education.
Very true. I'm expecting one answer. Anyone else who can just add to? I'm just expecting one answer, one observation. Anyone else?
Ma'am, I feel the video shows how the teacher has made the children comfortable and she has built a rapport with the children.
So true. Yes. Okay. Coming back to the point that when, you know, the teacher was teaching, when the teacher was firm, then the students were having some distance, isn't it? When the teacher was a little strict, the students were hesitant to talk to her. As in when she became, just a second, sorry, excuse me. As in when she started playing games with the students, they started developing interest in that particular subject. So what I am trying to convey is that not only this particular, interaction that the teacher is having, she's not being very friendly. She started with a game, and with the game, over a period of time, you can enhance your subject and the content, and the understanding that the children will develop out of it will develop their interest for that subject as well. It is not just okay, you are having an interaction and this particular teacher is favorite. Favorite teacher is always the one who where you develop automatically you develop an interest for that particular subject. So my point here is that when the children you are interacting with, you are having a planned way of teaching that particular class, including some activities, then unknowingly you are developing that interest for that subject, and the children will definitely love to be in the class of such teachers. Coming back to now the second mistake. The second mistake normally we make is assuming that good procedures will just happen. At times we become very comfortable. When it comes to routine, we become very comfortable assuming that everything will happen automatically. We need no procedures, we need no such rules for the class, and things will go on their own. And for the good procedure and if consistently followed, leads to a smooth running classroom. That means that if we are having a set of procedures for our classroom, then ultimately it leads to a smooth classroom functioning. We should not assume it. Actually, we should plan it. So these are two different things that we need to keep in our mind before we enter a particular class. A haphazard procedure consistently followed. If we are following haphazard procedures, means in a rough form, and otherwise we presume that this will happen. If we are unplanned, if we are following such kind of procedure, it will lead to a chaotic class. The chaos is bound to ensue. Then you will face this problem that the children are not listening to you, they are not attentive, they are not listening to the class, they are misbehaving, and many other things. So these are the mistakes that normally happens in the class. Now it is why. Why means first practical solution need is required. It is not that just we assume the things and you feel like it will automatically come to a conclusion. You need a practical bend of mind to solve such kind of a problem. Then it is intangible also. Intangible means I have given a solution to it. I have made rules. Children, whether they are following it or not, or whether they are actually, taking it for granted, I am least bothered. So what happens when you are not executing or implementing such kind of rules? Then the children will start taking you for granted. Your words will be meaningless. And the children will say कि मैम आते हैं कुछ भी कहते हैं वो तो follow नहीं करते, अगर हम नहीं भी करेंगे तो things will be fine for them. So that way you will lose that aura that you have, the strength that you have in the class. So what is more important is what your words should be meaningful, and they should know that if I'll not be following such kind of things, or if I'll not be following these kind of rules, teacher is definitely going to check me. That means your words are meaningful in the class. Then only they will start respecting you. Think of a chaotic time in your classroom. That means doesn't have a procedure. You don't have plans. You don't have procedures. Procedures doesn't work well, and the procedure isn't being followed. Decide how the procedure should work. That means if your class is not having well-planned strategies, definitely your class is going to have a chaotic scene. Now there are 4 steps to have that perfect procedures. First is explain. That means you need to explain to the class what procedures need to be followed. It is not verbal. It has to be very clear, properly announced in the class that this is what the new rules, the set of new rules or new procedures will be. After explaining to the class that these are some of the things that I will not tolerate in my class, then you need to give a practice to it. It is not just I have explained, I have mentioned, and things are over. No. Then you need to practice the same. If you will not practice, whatever you have drafted is definitely going to be in a bin, because the children will take it for granted. Ki ma'am ne bata diya, it's okay. But practice means you will spare that 5-10 minutes in your class initially, so that the children are aligned that yes, ma'am is serious about it. Practice means go out the way I told you to come in, the way I told you to sit, the way I told you to clean up your desk, the way I told you to take out your notebooks, the way I told you how to collect the notebooks, whatever. You need to be very clear and you need to give a practice to the class. If in case after giving practice, the children are again coming with, don't expect that in one practice they will be perfect. No, they will not. They will make errors, and then your role comes where you have to correct them. Here, I told you not to run while entering the class. You are running, go back again, come and walk to the class. I told you no, that first 5 minutes, I'll allow you to go for the washroom in between the class. When my lecture is there, you will not be allowed to go out. So make sure that in this particular period, I will not allow. And other things like whatever area of concerns you are having, you need to follow the same. So my point is that you need, after practice, you need to correct them if they are going wrong. Then again, redo them. Redo means again you give a practice after correction. It is not once I corrected and things are fine. Next time I'll forget. No. If you will forget next time, definitely you will find that the children will again be creating a mess. For example, the start of the class. When the session starts, in the beginning of the session, when you have structured framework of the procedures that you need to dictate it to the class, then you will find the things over a period of time will be aligned. If you will not start this kind of a thing in the beginning of the session, it doesn't mean that you cannot start any point of time. You can start, but the thing is that it becomes a little difficult, and you need to keep a patience because it will take time. In starting of the class, it will be more effective. When you start the session, you are starting with the rules, you are dictating the terms, that these are some of the areas that you need to follow. So that becomes more smoother. So good procedures are the backbone of smooth running classroom. They are worth investing time in. Don't feel that I am wasting my time. It will not be, in that particular time, I should have taken one of my chapter. Initially, you will need time. Initially, a practice is required, but over a period of time, you will find that you have actually streamlined everything. And all your efforts that you are putting in will definitely be on track. Then students naturally push boundaries. If the line isn't clear, they'll keep pushing. That means students have tendency. If you will stop them from any particular thing, they'll definitely do that particular thing. And this is a tendency of children or kids. And we should accept it that students can also sense your uncertainty. If you are actually not valuing your own words, don't feel that student is a fool. He understand what kind of teacher you is entering the class. So he will sense it, and accordingly he will behave. If you have very clear directions, then the students know that I cannot cross this boundary because ma'am is going to take up the action if I'll somehow not follow her instructions, or if that particular thing is not in that procedure. But if you will not take the feedback, if you will not take action, if you are not serious about your own procedures, don't think that the child is not aware. Child knows. Ma'am will not think, ma'am will not see, and let me follow the same procedure, and let me be again not in the class, and spoil that decorum of that particular class, because he knows well कि कहाँ चुप रहना है और कहाँ बोलना है. They people are very smart. Even a small kid is very smart that way. So your little problems do not stay little over a period of time if you will not check. Means that this little problem, if one child is misbehaving in your class, say two students are misbehaving in your class, you're not checking it that point of time. You're taking it casually. Chalta hai, koi baat nahi. Let me continue with my topic. So what will happen is this particular thing will again multiply, and right now it is 2, then it will become 4, then becomes 6, and beyond that. So we need to check there and then when the children start with this kind of issues. Okay, mistake number 3, not having a classroom management plan. This particular point is very, very important, because if we will not have a classroom management plan, then ultimately we are inviting trouble for our class, because we need to know when a student blurts out of a random comment, the student refuses to do work, the student is rude to you, and a student is rude to the classmate. Half of the class is talking when they shouldn't be. So that means you need to know that these are the issues that are coming up. What will be my strategy to curtail or to keep a check on these coming up issues? An experienced teacher can get away with this because they are experienced, they have the skills and the tools and the confidence, because over a period of time, you have developed, you know the psyche of the children, and you have developed your expertise in handling the classroom issues. But just a second, please. But until you are not that expert, what you need is a classroom management plan. It has to be there for all the new teachers or not that experienced teacher. because they need to handle the class. Otherwise, they are definitely going to that quality time will get wasted, and you will not be able to achieve the goals or the results that you are there for. So for that, if no plan is there, then it will definitely be leading to an inaction. Inaction means the teacher will be a little, blank. What should I do? Because I don't have any plan. If a child is not responding or is not bringing the homework, I have no plan. What should be my action? Then it also leads to inconsistency because she is not clear, so she will be inconsistent. That ultimately leads to disaster. So we all need that plan. How we have to prepare that plan? First is create a good classroom management plan as a written plan. We need to write it down. It cannot be assumed, it cannot be verbal, it has to be a written document. In that particular document, first be very clear about the procedures. What procedures you are going to follow. This I want, this I don't want. These are some of the set rules which needs to be there when I am teaching or entering the class. Now you need to come up with the expectations, because ultimately some expectations are there from the students as well. So you need to come up with that expectation as well. Response to the misbehavior. If the children will misbehave in my class, my response to the children will be such. Like if in case the students are speaking in the class, so you need to have various strategies for this. I think you all are teachers. Can anyone be coming up with any of the strategies what they normally do when the student misbehave in the class? Anyone who can share their experience? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
So please share your experience. If the child misbehaves in your class, what would be your reaction? What you normally do? I'm waiting. Nobody misbehaves in your class? All good students? My voice is audible? Diwali ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I just need to know what will be, what normally, how you tackle such kind of a situation when a child misbehaves in your class. How you normally deal with such kind of situation.
Ma'am, you're asking me?
I'm asking the audience.
Okay.
Of the teachers, not particularly you. I'm asking everyone. Anyone can answer.
Ma'am, explaining to the child the consequences of their behavior or the misbehavior that is, and what it could lead to, and trying to make them understand that they should not be doing such kind of behavior in the class because it will affect his friends.
Do you think with such moral lectures, things are going to be streamlined?
No, they won't, but then maybe we could have a little discussion with them as to what this kind of why first of all why the behavior why it was why it happened in class, that we should have to try to understand first from where it comes and then try to solve the issue.
I think she's talking about what is expected from the children and what is not. So they
Normally, I'm
should know.
asking how she deals with such kind of situation when
Yes.
the students are being naughty, they're disturbing you, and how you normally deal with such kind of situation. I am very much convinced with the way she responded. Anyone else who can add to? Because this is a normal scenario. Whether it is a primary student or a senior student, we normally face this kind of situation of misbehavior.
Ma'am, we usually talk to them regarding the reason behind such a behavior. Maybe he has fought with a classmate, or maybe some kind of rivalry. We can understand. We explain to them the reason and the consequence of it, and probably the child would be little settled. Maybe we can talk at length later on after the class to understand what is in his mind when he did such a kind of misbehavior in the class.
Right. So, what I am trying to tell you is that when supposing if a child is misbehaving in your class, we need to have set plans. Set plans means if a child is misbehaving, I'll initially give a yellow card. This is normally what we used to practice in our schools. So initially the teacher will rather not disturbing the whole class, she will just place that yellow card on his or her desk. Fine. Thereafter, second warning would be that will be a warning letter. What warning card? Then a laminated one. Then the second time he is misbehaving, he is going to get second card. Third time he is going to get a red card. And third time, after third time, he is bound to you need to bound to take action against the child. You are going to take him or her to the coordinator or anyone as per your sweet will. But the point is, we need to be very clear that this, if you will do this, you are bound to do this kind of consequence. So this clarity is what will bring about awareness, and the children will definitely feel like, yes, they'll think before they do. So rather than in the class, you being discussing and counseling the child is, I feel, is definitely going to, waste the quality time of others as well. So it's better that we should have a fixed strategy that if you'll do one, you will get a warning letter. Second, you'll again get a warning letter. Third, you will definitely face the consequences. So this way, the response for the misbehavior need to be pre-decided, and it has to be in a written form. Then is logical consequences. It has to be logical. It cannot be the action that you are taking is going to be an illogical one or something which is not actually permissible. And further, last but not the least, is positive reinforcement. It is not always that we need to talk about punishments and negative, this gestures. We need to have that positive reinforcement. If you will do this, I'll definitely be rewarding you with this. That is entirely up to the teacher who has to fix up the plan. So this particular positive reinforcement will encourage and motivate others also to do the same, so that they will also get that patting on their back. The second step is practice. Whatever written plan you have, it is going to be meaningless if you will not practice the same. So put your plan into action and practice responding consistently. Once you have that plan ready, have to implement.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Sure, sure. Please.
Ma'am, your voice is very low.
Is it, sir? Is it?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's coming very low.
Now it's coming low. Let me see.
Yes.
Am I audible now?
Now
Better?
it's okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Better.
Okay. Thank you for telling me. Okay. Now, once you have that plan ready with you, now it is the time that you have to practice it. If you will not practice that particular plan, it will be useless. As you know, the traffic rules are there. Traffic people, the government has made those traffic rules that if you will, jump this red light, you will be fined and all that. If you will not follow these traffic rules, then normally the traffic policemen are standing and they normally cut that challan. If that challan or check is not there, do you think anyone is going to follow those rules? I think no. It is because of that heavy challan that people are bound to follow the rules, and they normally are in sync, and the chaos is not there and the traffic moves smoothly. Same applies here also. If you have a structured written plan and you are not practicing it, nobody is going to follow it. And if nobody is going to follow it, ultimately all that hard work that you have put in is going to waste. So what is more important is practice the same thing.
Sorry
Now,
to interrupt, ma'am. Sorry to
again,
interrupt. I'm sorry, we just can't hear you, ma'am. Your voice has again become very low.
is that just a second? Just a second. I think my voice. Am I audible now?
Yes. I think if you come closer to your device, you are more
Maybe that
audible.
is it. Okay, I'll be. Now coming up to reset, teach, and practice. Again, resetting means you have to reset the rules that you have made. Then you have to teach them in the class, and then you have to practice it also. Practice responding consistently. As you respond consistently, your students will start to respect the new boundaries. What is more important is when you start giving a practice to the rules and you start actually implementing. Practicing doesn't mean that if they'll continue to do all that mischief in the class and you're not taking action. Follow it. If you will follow it, definitely you will find that the children will start respecting you because you are becoming neutral to everyone. You are there. Otherwise, normally the scenario is ma'am is becoming partial. वो तो उनके favorite हैं, बहुत अच्छे marks आते हैं, ma'am is becoming partial to that particular child. So ultimately, when you have that written constitution, you will definitely feel that the children are bound to follow it and they'll start respecting you. They'll see, yes, the teacher is becoming more organized now. Now, adjust and prevent. That is the troubleshoot with ISDI. That is identify the problem. Now, as a teacher, you need to identify what problem you are facing in the class. It can be of, say, the students are answering in chorus. You need to set a rule for answering, not to answer in chorus. The students are coming, running to the class without even taking permission. It can be any problem that you are facing in the class, depending upon the grade. It can be for junior, it can be for senior, depending again on which grade you are dealing with. Thereafter, after identifying the problem, seek out the solution. What can be the best solution for this particular problem? After finding out the solution, decide what to change. That is, you have to decide after that what changes you want in your particular class. Then implement the solution. Whatever solution you have decided for, you need to implement the same solution to get the better results. After that comes your proactive and preventive issues. That comes like build relationship. Your relationship with your student needs to be good. You cannot be humiliating the student because everyone in the class, whether it is a small child or a senior most, everyone, students start actually taking your words very seriously. When the teacher says so, they take the teacher's word very seriously. Your compliments also makes their day. Your negative remarks also spoil their day. So be very, very particular and very, very thoughtful before you give any particular remark. Your negative comments can actually demotivate that particular child, and your positive motivation can also encourage that particular child. So your relationship with the child or the student needs to be very, very good. How you have to bring him up, if he is being discouraged, then also you need to find out ways how to encourage and bring best out of him. That is again all the traits or the skills of a teacher. So one point is that you need to have good relationship. Second is improve organizations. That is, once you get a good structured plan, you will find that you are becoming more organized. Your organization also is going to get the best results for the students, and they will definitely come up with all the positive results and the mannerism that they are expecting out of that particular child. So that also need to be taken care of. Cut down on confusions. That is, you need not to get confused. If you will be getting confused about how to execute it, you will find that when you are confused, the whole class will be definitely taking you for granted. They will feel that the teacher is not clear, so I should also be taking her for granted, and the things become from bad to worse. Keep students engaged and motivated. Very important point, that once you keep the student engaged, then the possibility of getting them diverted or misbehaving in the class becomes just zero. If they are motivated, then also you will find that the objective of yours is achieved. Now, last but not the least, it is restart. Use your new skill and confidence to start the new session. That means when you are starting a new session, then that point of time, it is very important that you need to start it, because that particular time, the children are actually fresh. They are not very burdensome with the results and syllabus. That point of time, you can actually align them the way you want them to, and it will last for long. In between also you can do it, but again it will be more time consuming, because then the pressure of results, your syllabus and other things are also there. So it's better and always best rather to start a new thing at the starting of the session. Your classroom is now running more smoothly when you are very structured, planned, and you know how to get the best out of them. Then you will find a change in your class. Then rather than spending 5-10 minutes on making them quiet or banning the table or shouting or screaming in the class, you will find things are going very smooth. And that saves your time, and that saved time you can actually devote to your syllabus or completion of activities. Your skill and confidence will increase even more. Not only the students are going to get benefit of this, but you as a teacher also will definitely be getting that confidence. Yes, now I am getting best out of my students. Now my students are actually understanding the concept, and I'll be getting better results than before. Then your day starts, your first day in the school or the starting of the session will start with a clear plan, clear expectation. This is what I expect from you. Teach and practice procedures. Whatever you preach, you need to practice the same. Deal with the issues while they are small. Don't let the issues become a burden or a problem for you, and then you take action. Better hush them up when they are small, so that others will also be taking this as a lesson. That madam is not madam is having zero tolerance policy when it comes to discipline. Then hold the students accountable for. You are confident that you know what to do and can handle any new challenge that comes to your way. So thereafter, you become so confident that yes, now your class is more systematic. Now you can handle more challenges because everything is structured. So this is what is going to bring a change in the whole scenario, and your class actually becomes more smooth, and you become more confident, and the children are also being more disciplined in the class. Here again, there are a few things that I want that you should read it out. That is, create a daily duty routine that need to be displayed, that I've told you. Do not ignore any negative behavior. Be aware of all the school resources, because you need to be more resourceful. Whatever resources you are having, you need to implement such kind of resources. Create an atmosphere of respect in which the children feel safe, valuable, and want to take risks. So you need also that motivation where the children feel that yes, whatever they are saying, that also means a lot to teacher. Their words are also being addressed. Their queries, their problems are also being addressed. So that also need to be taken care of by the teacher. Get the students involved. Have them take part in designing and smooth running of the class. When you are actually creating that draft, take their consent. Don't dictate what you think need to be taken up. You need to take them into confidence. Let them be a part of that particular draft, and you will find that things are becoming more, achievable. Always have a backup plan. Whenever you have any such kind of a situation, make sure that you should have backup plan. Maintain classroom rules and the schedules, and make sure that they should be displayed. So these are some of the things that you need to all be taking care of to actually utilize the maximum time that you have in your class, so that your complete session goes smooth and ultimately the child becomes more disciplined. I think I'm clear. So with these, I think I have added few things to your knowledge. If you have any questions, please do ask. Any questions from your side, please? Or shall I wind it up? I hope teachers are now, I think I have made some difference, and they can actually come up with what they have learned. Can any one of you come up with what all you have learned from this session today? I need a brief. 1 point can be more than sufficient for one teacher. Anything that you have learned out of this session?
It is not only the subject knowledge which is enough. The teacher should know also to manage the class.
That is very important. Yes. Yes.
So class management, the teacher would be able to deliver
See,
better
even the
only
best
if
of best teacher, if the class is not properly managed, even the best of best teacher cannot deliver her lecture or cannot give her best. And
Yes,
children will definitely not be able. So what is most important is your classroom management plan. That is very important, which we normally take it for granted many a times.
and that is why it so happens the same teacher is teaching the two sections. One classes, especially it happens when you're teaching 11th and 12th standard children. One is a science section and another one is a commerce section. So you can see the difference.
Same teacher is teaching, and you can see
Same teacher is teaching, but you have different ways to handle the children.
Very true. Anyone else? Okay, with this, I think I should wind up. Thank you so much for
So
being.
I would like to extend
Sure, sir.
one interesting thing. In fact, I would like to add my own observation and a very small anecdote that I'd like to share.
Sure, sir.
When I was in B.Ed, in B.Ed, the people are doing B.Ed after MSc or BSc, and age is quite high. And a new professor has come, and the whole year she was teaching us stagnation and wastage. Wastage and stagnation.
There is a topic.
There was a topic, wastage and stagnation. And the whole year she was teaching us because children were not allowing her to teach. And mostly she used to weep and go out of the class. And I used to feel pity of, that how it is happening. But I was a student at that time and the part of the crowd, you can say, that when you are in the crowd, it is not necessary that people will listen to your voice. After 4 or 5 years to passing from that school and after joining service, I went to that college again just to see that what is happening there. And I have asked from one of the students about that teacher, where is that teacher? So that student has seen me from top to bottom and said, why are you asking about that teacher? I said, just I want to meet her. सर वो बहुत खतरनाक है, उसके आसपास में बहुत भटकना. So I was surprised. There was a lot of change. And when I met her, she was so good. She has recognized me. Oh, you are from the first batch. Yes. तो फर्स्ट बैच में तो तुमने हमें बहुत पागल बनाया. But on the other hand, I was very happy that she has familiar herself with the classroom management. The knowledge itself is not counted, as you have said in your discussion. I'd like to sum up in a few more words that it is very essential to build relationship with the students, positive connection with the students, and get to know personally by scheduling one-to-one meeting or by banking time with them. It's very necessary. And if possible, you can have a notebook. Most of the teachers are having teachers' diary. So you should know the detail about the students, their interests, their hobby, their family background, etc., their birthdays, etc., etc. And also communicate with their family members whenever they are coming to the school, or they also act as a bank for you. Because generally I used to ask, what is your father? He used to say, he is in railway. Okay, railway means reservation. So because I mean, they are very helpful for you in one or other way. They are also helpful for you in the school work also.
Yes.
So make a bank of your parents. And classroom
One
management.
personal touch is very much required, sir. One
Which is-
personal touch.
Yes, yes. Please carry on. You were saying something.
No, I was just telling that one personal touch that lasts long. You know, when we used to study in our school, it being long, I mean, it's been, say, 30, 40 years back, still we remember the thing that one point of time our teacher said. So that, the children, the batch, our classmates were so much scared of that maths teacher, because during those days the boys used to get scoldings and rather beatings. So when that particular scary instance till date we remember, so we can well imagine that impression which we think or we feel that my class 30 minutes have gone and now the children must forget it. No, till date after 40 years I remember the same. So it is a very long everlasting impression that teacher leaves.
And I would like to add one or two more points is that classroom management is not only going in the class, taking the attendance, teaching and coming back. It is something more than that. And remember that today's classroom is different from yesterday's classroom.
Very true.
Because to whom you are teaching? You are teaching to those children who are more ahead of you technologically.
Yes.
And also mentally.
True.
So prepare yourself for that and then go. And always don't have one teaching strategy, always change it, regular change. You can have a mix of activities, group work, discussion, hands-on, and so many things which are available nowadays. And if possible, involve them in the games, in the projects, and leave your lesson at a point where they have to use the help of technology, and next day they used to come and tell you, sir, this is the answer. Then is the knowledge of the curriculum. It is very essential that you should know what is the curriculum and how it is transacted. For that, you should know Bloom's taxonomy, you should know teaching strategies, you should know timetable, you should know lesson plan, many things you should know that most of the teachers are doing. So in short, we can say that this plan that you have discussed today, it is the wonderfully you have explained different things. So it is an ongoing process, number one. Number two, it reflects on your practice. It reflects on your professional development, and also take some feedback from the students, from the parents, from the colleagues, or from the stakeholders. because nowadays you are not the king in the class. The time has gone. So now you have to take the help of everybody. So that is, and in the last, before giving you thanks, I'd like to share one story that Gadkari was telling. So that I want to share with you. Gadkari was saying that a man A was working, so he was working A square. The second man B was working B square. And when both together were working, it is A plus B square, which is equal to A square plus B square plus 2AB. That is 2AB work extra is done when they are working in a team. So remember, teamwork is always beneficial. And for that, it is very essential that suppose you are an English teacher, make a team of the English teachers, discuss with them the different strategies, make your own strategy and then. So thank you very much, ma'am. You have been wonderful, as I have seen you so many times interacting. So it was a wonderful session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
For joining us in this session. Thank you very much. Dr. Deepali Pradhan, please.
Sir and ma'am, your expertise and engaging, whether those are anecdotes or, your views, provided all the participants with valuable strategies and practical ideas that can be implemented in the classrooms. And certainly they are going to enhance our classroom environment and later have more dynamic and effective learning experience for the students. And I think that is the reason we are all here. Now I would invite Urvika Shivran from Bharati Vidya Bhavan Vidyashram, KM Munshi Marg, to formally thank Ma'am Neelu Goswami for the today's session.
Thank you, Deepali. Thank you so much. And thank you for your support. And I would like to thank all the staff members for being so patient listeners. I feel that, yes, even a single difference, if I could make in their teaching learning habits, that will be my achievement. Thank you so much.
Good
Urvika,
evening,
are you
ma'am.
there?
Yes,
Urvika?
ma'am. I'm there, ma'am. Good evening, everybody. I, Urvika Shivran, on behalf of Bhavan's Vidyashram KM Munshi Marg, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Neelu Goswami for enlightening us on the topic, vibrant classroom planning for overall improvement. Ma'am told us that an ideal teacher is one who is a mixture of the qualities of being firm and being kind. And this helps to earn respect from the students. She also strengthened on making a class constitution, which should be written and with the due improvements from all the participatory students. This will help us to and this help the children also to follow that classroom norms. And she also told us to set boundaries for incorrect behavior and this thing for positive reinforcement, which helps us to build good relationships. And overall plan has to be put in practice, and the practice after implementing that, we need to review our plan on regular basis so that we can figure out the faults or with the points where we need to improve. The last thing which I liked the most about her session was that ma'am insisted on a proactive method where we have to build relationship with the children, one-to-one relationship, and so that it improves the overall class organization, the class productivity in all, and it keeps the students engaged and motivated. So overall, what are learning objectives that we want our children to attain, we are probably 90% or 100% closer to that. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. And it was really, really very nice.
Excuse me, ma'am. Dipali ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, actually, 10 minutes before there was an electricity failure, so I must have missed attendance link because the chat box now is showing 0 because I had to re-enter the meeting.
Okay,
So if you
no
could
problem, ma'am.
share it.
Sumita ma'am, please share the link.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It has come. So thank you,
Yes,
Sumita.
ma'am. I have shared again.
Thank you, ma'am.
So with this, we come to the end of this session. Tomorrow, once again, we will meet at 4 o'clock.
Let me share the Shanti part, ma'am.
Yes,
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 ma'am.
yes, yes, very much. Voice.
At times, because of technology, we face problems. So, sorry for that there wasn't a clarity in the voice because there are many who are putting in the chat box not audible or audio is not clear. So at least we could pray. Even if it is not clear, I think we should thank God for whatever He has given us. That we all are here attending the workshop and learning every day and making the best use of the opportunity which has been provided to us. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
They can see in the YouTube also. In the